Welcome back to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. William Ruto shared a post on his Twitter handle, a post that was supposed to brief Kenyans on one, his relationship with the American government and the situation in Haiti, because there have been speculations that he was abandoned after the failed Haiti mission when Ariel Henry resigned after they had signed a deal. And this post was, in my considered view, was also meant to be like a weighing bridge, just to test what people think, because William Ruto want to know what people are thinking about Haiti. But this post backfired on him, and I think he even regrets informing Kenyans why he did this tweet. William Ruto said that I had a telephone conversation with the United States Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, on the developments in Haiti. Secretary Blinken briefed me on the decision on the Summit of Caribbean Countries, that is CARICOM, and the US, together with other partners, on the political situation in Haiti. He informed me that a new presidential council will be formed shortly to manage the situation in Haiti. I assured Secretary Blinken that Kenya will take leadership of the UN Security Support Mission in Haiti to restore peace and security in Haiti as soon as the Presidential Council is in place under an agreed process. So that was the brief that William Ruto gave us. And when you listen to the tone of that information, number one, he's telling us that he was given a call by Antony Blinken. There is an element of their relationship. He wants people to know that despite what is happening, he's still the blue-eyed boy to the American government. That is why they can take the moment and call him. This is not the first call he's received from the US. Number two, there was an abrupt change of heart after they had insisted that they were going to take 1,000 policemen to Haiti. In fact, just a day after Kithure Kindiki, who is the Minister of Interior, insisted that we were ready for the Haiti mission, despite the mayhem that had surrounded this mission. The PS in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Corette Singulain, told us that they had decided not to go to Haiti, at least for a period of time, until a stable government or something of that nature is established. So William Ruto wanted to clear the air. Did they suspend it indefinitely? What exactly happened? And he explained that this was the information because there had been speculations that he chickened out because they feared the gangsters in Haiti. So he wanted to appear as a brave man, not to be taken as if he is a coward. So he was explaining that it was Antony Blinken who explained to him that there is a presidential, I think, council that will be formed. So according to him, they have only suspended this because the one whom they signed with that deal is no longer in office, and so they are waiting for a makeshift team, this presidential council, then they will fly to Haiti, making it very clear. Others thought that he had chickened out of the deal because of the court order, but he's explaining in this Twitter handle that it was not as a result of obeying or respecting the court order as we thought. It is because of this call from Anthony Blinken. In other words, William Ruto is telling us that had it not been for that call, we would have rushed to Haiti. The question is, where were they going to land despite what is happening? Now, if you look at the responses from Kenyans, because as I indicated earlier, I believe they also wanted to know what people think about this. One of the ways to understand what people think is simply posting it. And you see, this is an open forum. People are not restricted, regardless of your political affiliation and tribal affiliation, you could respond. But the responses were not good. And if this is what William Ruto wanted to use, maybe to measure the situation, then he knows that people are against it. I want us to read just a few of them. But before we do that, I had advised on this channel that one of the ways William Ruto could use to hide as he chickens out of as he abandons the Haiti mission was to ensure that Kenyans went for demonstrations and saying Haki yetu, we don't want Haiti, all these kind of things, police resignations and a vote of no confidence. And one of them is this one, because everyone is reading the post and they understand that people don't like it. Now, after this post, the first person who responded is someone called Cornelius Rono. And Rono is saying, exit strategy begins. No Kenya police officer will go to Haiti. According to Cornelius, he feels William Ruto wants a soft landing to appear brave, but still decides not to go to Haiti. Number two, this guy called Bonnie is saying, so umesema deposit haurudishi. Because you see, we had received about 200 million US dollars or something. So they're asking him, you're not returning the money, because it is in the public domain that the reason why William Ruto is rushing to Haiti is because of the money. So those are the kind of responses. And this person called Imani is saying, instead of having a telephone conversation, you just go there via airplane. It's been days since you traveled. See the kind of responses. You know, William Ruto has been labeled a visitor in our country. And it's been a while since he traveled. And people are telling him, you just go there. Go for a vacation. Go to Haiti yourself. Because that was the only way to show us that Haiti is safe. So that's telling him, instead of a telephone call, you go. This other person called Unadi Africa is saying, and when will you have a call with the actual people of Haiti to hear their side of the story? Because this was an arranged mission between Ruto and Biden, who is, if you ask me, the author and the finisher of the problems in Haiti. He's being asked, when will you have a conversation with Haitians themselves? Because today, if you come and start talking to the government, for example, you land in Kenya and you talk to the Foreign Affairs Ministry, maybe Mdavadi and the spokesperson there, and you talk to William Ruto, you will not get the exact feeling of the real people, the real things that are happening, because governments have got their own ways of explaining things. So he's being asked, please, when will you talk to the Haitians themselves instead of listening to the international community? Then this guy is telling him, don't forget this. And the picture that is there is the Ariel Henry being evacuated when they attempted to assassinate him there. And then, at least this called Nation, asked a question. He posted this, that as a Kenyan citizen, do you support the deployment of Kenyan police to the streets of Haiti when banditry and other types of crime are still a serious problem in Kenya? That question itself is very informative. We still have people are being butchered here. Bandits kill our teachers left, right, and center. And then this guy was asking, as a Kenyan citizen, do you support? The answer that he got was, I support the deployment 19.8% and I don't support 80.2%. Then at least someone, this guy called Duke of Bungoma is saying Kenya has a moral obligation to contribute to international efforts to restore peace and security in Haiti, especially considering the dire humanitarian situation and the suffering of the Haitian people. At least he got someone who feels that our soldiers, our police should go there. Then this guy called James is telling him the vast majority of Kenyans don't want their country to participate in this dangerous mission. But somehow the president sees it fit to send Kenyan sons and daughters there. Kenya is not under any obligation or moral or political to take part. Then of course, this other guy says, how many times we have to say this? Don't come to our country. We Haitian people, we don't need Kenya. You just obey your master, stay away from Haiti, go and help Ukraine. I don't know whether this guy is, his name is called Avadra Grand Chairman. I don't know whether it is real, but he says he's from Haiti and he's saying, how many times have I told you not to come? Then this other guy says, are you telephoning another country other than Haiti? Which any other country are you calling? Why are you not flying to Haiti yourself? Now this guy is also asking him, you don't need to call. You don't need to make this telephone conversation. Go there yourself. And then ask him to send some money to Kule, to Kingoja, because it means we can do anything now. We are waiting to be deployed. Murgor, way to go, Your Excellency. Kenya to the world. So at least of all the posts that I've read, there are only two people. There are only two people, and of course the last one, this new presidential council is a joke and the Haitian people won't accept it. So better focus on taking the next step with caution. And I think I could go on and on, ladies and gentlemen. A post that was meant to show that William Ruto is still a darling of the Americans, a post that was supposed to show us that he's as brave as he was and the mission is still viable, really backfired on him. What do you think yourself about the post? Share with me in the comment section.